You're just a placeholder until something better comes along." She said that in front of all her friends, with wine in her hand and a smirk on her face. I didn't say a word. I just sat there, bleeding in silence. My name is Caleb Walker. I'm 42, a software engineer. Quiet, loyal, never liked drama. But that night, drama didn't knock on my door. It walked in, took a seat, and stabbed me in the chest with a smile. She was Madeline, a PR executive, smart, sharp, beautiful in ways that made people forget their names, and cruel in ways only I got to see. That dinner was supposed to be a celebration. I'd gotten a bonus, booked her favorite rooftop spot. Just us, or so I thought, but she wanted friends, an audience. I didn't realize it then, but it wasn't dinner. It was a performance, and I was the fool at the center of her act. When she said those words, the whole table froze. Even the waiter flinched. But I didn't yell, didn't cry, didn't ask, why? I just looked at her and smiled, not because I was okay, but because I already knew the end had started days ago. A week before, a message popped up on her iPad. "Marcus, just a client," she once said. But clients don't send "can't wait to feel you again." At 1:23 a.m., I didn't confront her, didn't storm out. I watched, I listened, I gathered, screenshot by screenshot, receipt by receipt. I created a folder, called it Closure. After dinner, I didn't go home. I walked past the restaurant, past the noise, past everything. The night was cold, but not as cold as what I just felt. She humiliated me, not by accident, but with intent. And for what? A moment of power? A show for friends? I wasn't just hurt. I was erased. But I didn't explode, didn't scream, didn't call her a name. I disappeared. I checked into a quiet Airbnb, north side of town. No digital trail. Paid in cash. I took a shower that night. Let the water run too hot. Let it burn the parts of me that still wanted to believe her. The next morning, I filed for a week off work. Mental health leave. First time in 8 years. My co-workers were kind. Said they hoped I was okay. But I wasn't. I wasn't okay. I was unraveling. Quietly, efficiently, the way an engineer breaks apart a failed system. Bit by bit, thread by thread. I opened the Closure folder again. Reviewed every screenshot. Every hotel invoice. Every message from Marcus. It wasn't just an affair. It was a blueprint. And I'd been sleeping right in the middle of it. The worst part? She didn't even try to hide it. She thought I'd never look, never question, because that's who I was, in her eyes. Predictable, soft, safe, but safety isn't weakness. Silence isn't surrender. I dug deeper, checked credit reports, bank records, loan applications in both our names. Then I found it. A startup, co-owned by Marcus, partially funded by a joint credit line she opened using my name. She used me, not just emotionally, but financially. This wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal with paperwork. I sat there, staring at the screen, hand frozen on the mouse, mind buzzing, but quiet, deadly quiet. No rage, just clarity. I didn't yell, didn't call her, didn't smash anything. I did something worse. I planned. I didn't eat much that week. Didn't sleep much either. Not because I was depressed, but because I was awake. Awake in a way I hadn't been in years. I realized something. I'd built my entire world around someone who never saw me. Madeline didn't love me. She loved the reflection of herself in my devotion. But that reflection was gone now. So I left everything. The apartment, I packed in silence. One suitcase, a laundry bag, and the only photo I still kept, us, before everything broke. She was laughing. I was smiling. But now I saw it clearly. Only one of us meant it. I moved into a one-bedroom on the edge of town. No elevator, no front desk, just quiet. I paid 6 months in cash. No forwarding address, no explanation. And for the first time in a long time, I felt safe. I set up a folding desk, used my old laptop, made coffee in a tin kettle that hissed every morning, like it was warning me not to look back. I didn't cry, didn't call anyone, didn't post anything cryptic. I just started collecting. Receipts, legal documents, investment files, bank transfers. I piece it all together, like a puzzle, a roadmap of betrayal. Every signature she forged, every lie she labeled as business. And Marcus, he wasn't just a fling. He was her business partner. Their entire brand was built on borrowed credit and broken trust. And I was the foundation, the quiet man with the solid credit score, the predictable partner, the guy who wouldn't ask questions. Until I did. There was one person I called, just one, my brother, Elijah. He lived 3 states away, married, kids, a simpler life. We hadn't talked in months, but when he picked up, he didn't ask why. He just said, "You need a place?" I said, "No, just a voice that doesn't lie." He stayed on the line while I said nothing, and somehow that helped more than any advice ever could. That night, I wrote something on a Post-it note and stuck it to the mirror. It said, "Build, don't burn," because I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace, not by destroying her, but by remembering who I was before she rewrote me. And that was the beginning of the Real comeback. 3 weeks later, she called me again, this time from a different number. I let it ring, didn't answer, didn't care. Then came the voicemail. "Caleb, we need to talk. There are things that got out of hand." No apology, just damage control. So I gave her what she wanted, a meeting. We met at a cafe she once loved, rustic, trendy, full of fake plants and filtered air. She showed up, wearing white, smiling, like none of it ever happened. "Wow," she said, "you look good." I nodded, let her talk. She said she missed me, said things were complicated, said Marcus meant nothing. I just sipped my coffee, didn't blink. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just needed options." "Options?" I smiled. Then I handed her a folder, black, unlabeled, heavy. Inside, every document, the joint credit fraud, the business laundering, the fake invoices, filed in my name. Her face went pale. "You kept all this?" I nodded. "Close your folder." I stood up, put on my coat. "You used me. Now it's my turn to be useful." She called after me. "Caleb, wait. What are you going to do?" I didn't answer. Didn't need to, because the dominoes had already started falling. That week, her business accounts were frozen. Marcus was audited, and their app pulled from the store for security violations. They couldn't explain. Why? Because I emailed the right people, investors, regulators, a friend who worked at a finance blog that loved a juicy story. I didn't use my name. Didn't need to. The facts were loud enough. She tried to spin the story, said I was bitter, said I was unstable. But she forgot screenshots don't lie, and silence doesn't mean surrender. It means you're watching, waiting, and then you strike. By the time her company issued a statement, it was too late. The story had legs, and it was running. She tried to text me. Again, this time, just one word. "Why?" I didn't answer, didn't even open it, because sometimes the best reply is to let them watch themselves burn. I didn't celebrate. There was no toast, no fist pump, no cinematic walk into the sunset, just stillness. And that was enough. I moved again to a smaller place, by a park, with a window that caught morning light, like it was made for healing. No security cameras, no backup drives, no folders labeled closure, just space, peace, breath. I took on freelance work, helping people protect their digital identities. The irony wasn't lost on me. Turns out, once you dismantle deception quietly, people trust you to build protection. Funny how that works. She never called again, at least not directly, but I saw the ripples, the failed relaunch, the whispers online, the podcast episode that vanished mid-season, the woman who once stood so tall. On the stage she built from my silence, had gone quiet herself, not because I silenced her, but because the truth finally spoke louder than she did. There's a diner near my new place. Nothing fancy, but the coffee's always hot, and the waitress remembers your name by day 3. One afternoon, I sat by the window, ordered pecan pie, same as the one I never got a taste. That night, she humiliated me. This time, it was warm, fresh, mine. Across the room, a woman smiled at me, not flirtatious, just human. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled back, without weight, without a mask.